morning folks, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you again. Another impromptu review this week. ImagineSim very kindly sent me a copy of their latest creation for Flight Sim 2020. This is Singapore Changi International Airport on the island of Singapore in the Far East. You'll note that CloudSurf simulations already have a version out. But this is a newer version, updated, complete with the construction area close to runway 02 right, which you can see here in all its glory. They've done a lot. So as I said, this is a review of the ImagineSim version, literally just released not so long ago. There's a lot to see in this, so I'm not going to go through it all, but I'll try to cover as much detail as I can. So Changi International Airport in Singapore, Whiskey Sierra Sierra Sierra. This is the payware scenery by ImagineSim, and you're looking at version 1, the release version for Flight Sim 2020. Now the zip file downloads at 644 meg, and the total installation when it runs is around about 3.8 gigs. There's 14 subfolders that you will find in the community folder when you install this. And in total they sort of add up to around about 3.8 gig. It's available only at the moment from the ImagineSim shop, and I will put the link up in the description for you to have a look at. Okay, prices based on the UK pound, £19.99, which equates to roughly $25.38 or €23.43. The euro and the US prices are all estimates taken from the UK pound, and they do include tax or VAT, which of course may vary depending on your country of purchase. So essentially you download the zip file after you've bought the project, and inside there's an executable file. There's also a manual. So simply run the executable, and the scenery will self-install. It'll locate your community folder and install 14 subfolders in there. And if all goes well, you should also have a configurator installed, and I'll show you that now. And basically it allows you to turn on and off various features. I've got everything turned on for this review so that you can see what it looks like at its best, but the configurator is a really nice touch, and normally that will install on your desktop. Now when I installed the release candidate version they gave me, it didn't. So in order to, I had to go and sort of have a look through the folders and find it. But in case you have the same issue, I will show you the location where you can set up a shortcut so that you can chop and change what you want to see in the scenery. So let's have a look at the list of features. Project is for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Features the latest 02 center, 20 center and 02 right, 20 left runways. New parking bays and 40 kilometers of new taxiways. They're saying fantastic performance with comprehensive optimization, and to be fair, I've just spent the last hour looking over this, and there's quite a bit of detail, a lot of texturing, and it's pretty fluid. High definition building texturing, fluid usage even with complex airliner cockpits and high density AI coverage. The vast midfield Terminal 5 construction areas modelled, and you can see that here below to the right there. Custom safe gate TM visual docking guidance system, and you'll see that during the Jetway test. Interactive bespoke jetways and animations. Now to be honest, the only animations I can find in the whole scenery are the jetways. However, ImagineSim, who've been in touch with me, have said that there is more work to be done on this, so hopefully that would be interesting to see some more animations. So you have instantaneous scenery cache loading and low simulator impact, switchable ultra or standard texture sets, and you'll see that, or you'll have seen that on the configurator. You can go to high res or lower standard resolution. 52 square kilometer coverage of the whole Singapore airport area. Graduated ground extremities to seamlessly blend with any vector-driven add-on, and it utilizes ImagineSim's bespoke operations center configurator, which we've just shown you. And yes, the airport is done completely. Even when you go out to the airfield fences right out here, you will find security gates. So they've really have gone to town. One other important thing to note, this version of Singapore for FlightSim 2020 is not available as an update or an upgrade if you purchased any project from previous versions from ImagineSim. This is a new project for FlightSim 2020, and it is as it is. But actually for 20 quid, nearly $26, it's at the higher end, but then as we look at this project you'll see why and what I think. So now let's look at some history. So history for you. Singapore Changi International Airport, commonly known as Changi Airport, Whiskey Sierra Sierra Sierra, is an international public/military use airport owned and operated by the Changi Airport Group. This airport serves the island of Singapore and is one of the largest transportation hubs in Asia. As one of the world's busiest airports by international passenger and cargo traffic, it has been rated as the world's best airport by Skytrax 12 times and was one of the first airports in the world to hold the title for 8 consecutive years. It's also been rated as one of the world's cleanest airports. Over 100 airlines operate from this airport with non-stop or direct flights to destinations in Asia, Oceania, Africa, Europe, the Middle East and North America. The airport is located on the island of Singapore in the district of Changi at the eastern end of the island, around 15 miles or 24 kilometers east of downtown Singapore City. The airport occupies an area of some 9.7 square miles or 25 square kilometers, so it's pretty huge. The airport is the home base for BOC Aviation and Jetstar Asia Airways, as well as the country's flag carrier Singapore Airlines. The airline has a cargo division based here, as well as the low-cost subsidiary Scoot Airlines. Prior to Changi, Singapore's main international airport was located at Paya Lebar. It opened in 1955 with a single runway and a small passenger terminal, having itself replaced the previous Kelang airport. The decision to move the airport from Paya Lebar to Changi was based on a number of factors, including the growth in aviation transport, which was causing congestion issues at Changi. Its inability to cope with the rising traffic became critical by the 1970s, with annual passenger numbers rising dramatically from 300,000 in 1955 to 1.7 million in 1970 and then up to over 4 million in 1975. As a result, there was a need to accommodate this growing demand for air travel and to establish Singapore as a global aviation hub. In 1975, the Singapore government decided to build a new international airport at the existing Changi Air Base. The location was ideal for expansion, and flying in over the sea would negate any noise pollution issues, as well as other potential advantages. The previous airport at Paya Lebar would now become an airbase. The original master plan for the airport involved constructing a dual terminal and dual runway configuration over 2 phases with provisions for another 2 passenger terminals in the future. Phase 1 included the construction of the passenger terminal, the first main runway, reusing and upgrading the main runway at Changi Air Base. 45 aircraft parking bays, support facilities and structures, including a large maintenance hangar, a fire station, workshops, administrative offices, an air freight complex, 2 cargo agent buildings, in-flight catering kitchens, and a 260-foot or 80-meter control tower. Construction for the second phase would commence immediately afterwards and include a second runway, 23 more new aircraft parking bays, a second fire station and a third cargo agent building. The very first commercial aviation operation at the new airport occurred on the stroke of midnight on the 12th of May 1981 when Singapore Airlines flight SQ140 touched down at midnight Singapore time, or 1700 London time, with 140 passengers from London. Changi Airport began commercial operations on the 1st of July 1981, with an official opening 5 months later in December 1981. So there you go, a huge airport, long time coming, started as a military base, still has military operations. But as many of you might well know, this airport not only is one of the world's most major airports, it also has one of the largest seaports in the world. So it's a real commerce centre out in the Far East. So that was history for you. Let's look at runways. So runways. Singapore Airport operates 3 main runways: 02 left, 20 right, 02 centre, 20 centre, and 02 right, 20 left. All 3 runways are the same length, measuring 13,123 feet or 4,000 meters in length, and all are made from a concrete asphalt mix. Runway 02 left, 20 right and 02 right, 20 left are also grooved. The airport lies at an elevation of 22 feet or 6.7 meters and sits within the GMT UTC plus 8 hours time zone. So Singapore does not observe daylight saving time or DST, and so currently it's 8 hours ahead of the UK. It becomes 7 hours when we go forward in the summer. So all runways, that's all 3 runways or 6 ends, feature an instrument landing system except 02 right, 20 left, which features an RMP approach option only. In addition, runway 02 left and 20 centre feature an instrument landing system rated for Category 2 low visibility operations. And runway 20 centre also has a VOR approach option available too. So at the moment we're looking down the throat of runway 02 left, and I just checked on flight radar today. It's 4 minutes past 11 on the 26th of January 2024. Having checked flight radar, arrivals are coming in on 02 left, which is the runway we're looking at. So runway 02 left, 02 right, 20 left and 02 centre, 20 centre all feature high intensity runway lighting, airfield lighting system with sequence flashing lights, touchdown zone lighting, centerline lighting, runway end identifier lighting system, short field approach lighting and precision approach path indicators on both sides of the runway. So if we look here at runway 02 left, which is also part of this, here you've got the approach lighting system with a short field in set up as well, and you can just about see the flashing lights. Here's the runway end identifier lighting system. There's the centerline lights, and a little bit closer you'll be able to just see the touchdown zone lighting there, and we have the PAPIs on both sides. So let's pop down the other end 20 right, which is a slight change to what you see here. So here we are looking down the throat of 20 right, the other end of this runway, and they've got the high intensity runway lighting and the high intensity airfield lighting system, centerline lighting as you would expect, and the runway end identifier lights and the PAPIs. But they also, as you can see, have this large extended threshold with the short field lighting here as well, so you've got slight difference there. So let's have a quick look at 20 centre. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 20 centre, and this is pretty much as per the charts. The only difference here is they have one PAPI on the left hand side, and here you can see the airfield lighting system again with sequence flashing lights, but again it's pretty much it is as per the charts. Let's have a look at the other end, 02 centre. So here we are looking at the other end, 02 centre, and as you can see this is again as per the charts. PAPIs, 2 of them either side, approach lighting system, touchdown zone lighting there as well. This is perfectly okay. So let's have a look at 02 right. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 02 right, which is the other side of the construction system on the far eastern part of the island here. And as you can see, again as per the charts, 2 sets of PAPIs, centerline, touchdown zone and approach lighting, all as per the charts. Quick look at the other end for you, 20 right. So here we are looking down the other end, runway 20 right, and again you can see all the lighting as per the charts, perfectly acceptable. So just a note for you pilots who like to do things by the real world, At the moment, in the real world, runway 02 right 20 left, which is this one we've just looked at, the far eastern one on the other side of the construction centre, is closed from the 30th of November 2023 at 8 o'clock until the 15th of May 2024 at 23:59 UTC. So at the moment it's closed while construction is going on. And there are also adjacent taxiway closures as well. I'll show you the chart of the runway and the taxiway closures associated with this closure. As I said, I've looked at flight radar at the moment. They're coming in on 02 left, and you've got takeoffs and some landings as well on 02 centre. 02 right 20 left, this one, the far eastern runway, currently closed until May next year, or May this year, midnight UTC pretty much. So that does it for runways. Let's get to the jetway test. Okay, so jetway test. Here we are on stand Bravo 5 Alpha. Now obviously there is a plethora of jetways at this airport, and many of them. To go testing all of them is beyond the scope of this video. So we'll test this one, and actually this gives you a good idea of what everything looks like. Here you can see the way the jetways are built, the weathering on them. The stairs are actually off the ground here, which should help when the jetway connects. And here you can also see the end of the jetway is properly modelled as well. So let's connect this jetway and see how it looks. Well, it's really good. The motion is about the right speed, the wheels are working properly. And let's see how it looks. Now, I've just spawned onto the stand from the menu, no repositioning. That looks like a pretty good connection. Let's have a close-up look. That's pretty impressive from this side. Also a good thing to notice, the stairs they've gone into the concrete, but not by much. Oh, and the jetway itself looks pretty impressive. Let's look from the other side. Okay, the connection's pretty good. Okay, there's a gap at the bottom, but you know, nothing's perfect. It's still a really good connection. And while we're here, you can see the visual docking guidance system, which is installed and actually works. So let's go inside the jetway door. So this is about as far back as I can get inside the jetway to look at the door and the space here. On the right side there's a bit of a gap, but it's not really an issue. There's the floor gap. But on the left side it's pretty good. Let's see if we can open the door. Okay, so the door opening went fairly well. We're clear at the top and we're clear at the bottom. And from this angle you can see the door is open inside the jetway with no real collision that I can see. Here's the view from inside. You can see the jetway end, which is actually closed, but all looks pretty impressive. So let's disconnect the jetway. Again, the hood springs back. Slight delay, and the jetway pulls away. Note the flashing lights as well on the top, which is what they should have on all moving jetways. I think this may well be the first one I've seen actually operating, so kudos for that. But again, here you can see the jetways are fully modelled, wonderfully weathered. Everything looks pretty good. So there you go, that was jetways for you. Now let's have a tour of the airport proper and see just how good this is. Okay, so let's get down to the main tour. There's an awful lot to see, so I'm going to try and show you without spending too much time, and just try and concentrate on some of the things that I think are important. You'll see from this high level shot straight away the airport ground, taxiways and parking stands are all really nicely textured here. And the whole thing looks pretty real. Here you've got Terminal 4, which is on the southwest corner, and you've got the apron on one side and you've got the terminal itself here. Of course you've got the road going up and the foliage. So let's have a close look at this first while we're here. So we pass across the apron here. towards the terminal. Let's go down a little bit lower. You can see the texturing on the apron looks pretty impressive. Foliage looks good, lights are there too. There's the fence line to the right. As we approach the terminal, you can hear various sounds. Here you've got a car park. There's the terminal land side. And just when it comes to talking about detail, there you can see that even the signs on this car park are there, and they've been properly done. Here's a vehicle tunnel, and one of the things I like about this is here, look, you've got this growth of vegetation on the top here. You'll see this quite a lot around the airport, and to be honest, it's perfectly acceptable. It's just as per the real airport. I've been to Singapore Changi many years ago, and this is the whole place. This country is very, very warm and moist, and you see lots of vegetation. So here's the building structures around the Terminal 4 area. As you can see, lots of 3D modelling, static vehicles, nothing left to photoreal, which is what I like. So here's a shot across landside of the Terminal 4. It looks lovely. It looks very, very nice indeed. And just a close-up shot landside there, showing you we've got parked vehicles. Only thing it's missing is people, but that's another story. No internal development in any of the terminals at the moment, as I've said, but again, I don't have a problem with that at all. But from what you'll be able to see, this airport is very, very optimized. It's very fluid in terms of moving over it with the drone camera. So here's a shot looking airside of Terminal 4. Obviously this is what you pilots are really going to be interested in. As you can see, it looks eminently real. It's been very, very nicely done. I particularly like the way the concrete's been textured. And again, you've got building textures, Jetway, everything's textured up nicely here. Looks great. Probably just the right amount of ground clutter. Pity we've got no vehicle animations, but ImagineSim have said they're working on updates, so we may feature some things. Be nice to see them add animations that you could turn on and off, but we'll see. And just a close-up look at one of the stands. As you can see, beautiful texturing. Here's the end of the Jetway, and the lights work on the top when the Jetway moves, by the way. Here you've got the appropriate signs, all the nice little details that you'd expect of a decent, classy scenery. Visual docking guidance system works. And there's a look at the terminal. Like I said, as far as I know, there's no internal development. What they've done is they've really highly parallaxed everything. Here you've got the visualizing docking system. Well, my mistake. Terminal 4 airside lounge has been done, but we've got trees inside. So this is obviously up. If they're going to leave this as it is like this, they need to fix that bug. Or maybe the trees are meant to be there. I don't know. Terminal 4 wasn't there when I was there. So this may be an anomaly, maybe something they can look at. Well, there's just a look across Terminal 4 stands for you. As I said, as far as I know, pretty much most of the terminals here are parallax windows, no internal development as such. But we'll check that out. So let's move over to the west side. There you can see the airport road goes right into the terminal. Let's have a look, let's do a scan over airside, which is what you pilots will be interested in. Again, some really nice jetways and texturing work on the building here. Various bits of ground cutter. Just be aware I have everything turned on in the configurator, and I'm using standard resolution. And ignore the big Russian jet there, shouldn't be there, but there we go. But as you can see, the detail is really nice. It's very, very nicely done. As we go up to the far northern end there, you can see the Changi sign on the building. And you can see the drone camera's working pretty fluid, pretty much hardly any stutters at all really, considering the detail in this scenery. So here we come to the West Cargo Apron, again on the far north side of the airport. Airside looks fine, plenty of stands, and as you go landside you can see various trees, roads, cargo vehicles. Some really nice details here that make this look very good. The tree placement's been pretty good as well. I don't see too many trees occupying the roads, but there you can see the various buildings, all fully textured. Here's the fuel farm at the very northern end. Very, very nicely done. And we were talking about level of detail and sort of nothing forgotten. Here you've got this entry gate at the very far northern corner of the airport, right off the top of the fuel farm, by the airport fence here, which goes all the way around the airport, by the way. So now as we travel down the eastern side of the airport and have a look at the stands and the general layout. I mean, first impressions, I really like this. It's at least as good as CloudSurf's version, if not better in many other ways. Slow this down now. So we're looking at some of the stands here on the western side. Again, plenty of ground clutter. Stands look good. And the detail is great. It's just everything you need here. Again, you've got the Singapore Airport sign there. Very nice. I'd like to see a bit more animation, to be honest. The roads there, airside roads, are devoid of traffic. Hopefully this is going to be something they'll look at for an update. But visually, it's lovely. Especially the fauna, the trees placed in the right place. Very nice indeed. It just all looks good. So let's travel up the main thoroughfare. This is where you drive up and you're in a taxi, come to the airport. This is how you get in. This is the main central approach point. And there you can see on the left you've got the landside part of the terminal. Again, we've got cars parked and various flags. It's a beautiful thoroughfare here. It's just you've got the noise, but it's actually missing the traffic. Crown Plaza Hotel coming up there on the left, which is a rather unique design. And you've got the famous 260-foot control tower. No internal development in the tower, by the way, either. So just a quick look landside at some of the terminals here. Here's the landside road. And in the other direction. Oh, it's fine, but it just looks a bit dark. Maybe this will change in the darkness hours. And here inside this big rotunda, you've got, I think there's a zoo in here, if I remember correctly. Beautifully done. But as you can see, nicely modelled. Okay, fairly simplified, but it does the job. It looks lovely. Very nice indeed. And just a quick shot landside of that, showing you the roadway there. And you've got this train situation. Again, hopefully, I'm hoping that they might animate a train that goes in here. That would be impressive. Over here you've got the Crown Plaza Hotel. Again, all very nicely done. We've got parallaxing on the windows, no internal development. So a quick overview looking towards the east there of the central area complex. So we've got the western side. There's my aircraft parked down there below. So while we're here, let's pop across and have a look at this construction site and see how it's modelled. And it is modelled. There's lots of bits and pieces here. This is going to be going on for quite some time. So you can see you've got the buildings associated with the engineers that work here. A lot of this is photoreal, as you can see. But again, it's nicely detailed in a way that I don't think I quite expected. It's very nice. As you can see, it's huge. When it's finished, it's going to be quite impressive, I think, really. Okay, so that was the airport during the daytime. You can still see we've got some animations here. I think some of these are default, but there were some buses travelling up there. So you've got one or two little animations. The Jetway is certainly animated, but we don't have any people or any airside animations, which I would like to see. To be honest, I'd like to see some vehicles going up and down the roads, and it'd be nice to see a little bit more animated activity airside. So let's turn it down to dusk now and have a look at the lighting here. Okay, 7:15 in the evening local time. As I said, it's now 26th of January 2024. The lights had literally come on 1 minute ago, so I decided to leave it at this time and not go too much darker, because the light tends to fade very quickly in this part of the world. As you can see, it's nice, it's very subtle. All of the areas you'd expect to be lit are lit. We have lots of green centerline lights, so taxiing around shouldn't be a problem as long as you've got a map. And also you can see the signage is also well lit too. So let's do a low pass over some of the airport here and stands and see what it looks like. We've got lighting supplied by the correct sources, no Asobo glows floating around. The terminals look a bit dark, to be honest. Maybe that will be changed or updated. Control tower has hardly any lighting at all. That's a real pity, because the top of the tower should be lit by red lights. There you can see parallaxing of a sort on the hotel below us. But for those of you where it matters here, airside, the lighting is lovely, it's quite subtle. Let's get down and have a look at some of the ground taxiways here and the signage on there. So we've got green centerline lights here. You still have vehicles driving up. I haven't seen anybody going up and down the runway, which is good. So all the signs are lit as they should be. So little lighting possibly missing on these signs. Maybe that will change. We'll have a look at these signs again during the night time and see if they light up. Here's the cargo building up at the way northern end, and again proper lighting, all subtly done, very nicely done. And as we cross to landside, some very pleasant lighting as well. Here you've got maintenance area, you've got an aircraft there inside the hangar. And again, some nice subtle lighting, even at these areas that's sort of way off the airport and that you might regard as uninteresting. They've even done this here as well. So coming down to ground level on the eastern side, again looking at some of these taxiway signs and looking at some of the lighting generally. Airside you really don't have much of a problem. We've got some blue airfield edge lights as well. We've got various default vehicles moving around, which is quite normal too. Coming up on the northernmost stands on the eastern side. As you can see, lighting is really quite pleasant. And even the remote stands to the far left there are lit nicely too. Let's get a bit closer to some of these buildings. Now, as you can see in this part, they have done inside the airside bit. So you've got this kind of low resolution thing where it doesn't really work, to be honest. But if I move outside of the glass out into the ramp, it does work a bit better. So nice idea. You can call it parallaxing of a sort, which is sitting behind the airside lounge. Could do with some improvement, to be honest, to make it sharper and clearer. But then I haven't tested this at the higher resolution. Maybe the higher resolution looks better, I don't know. But as we look there from further away, it looks a bit more real. It looks quite a lot better. Okay, so here's the view from inside the cockpit looking out. And to be honest, that's not a bad view at all. This whole thing works better from a distance, and this kind of view you get when you park up, to be honest, is quite acceptable. Really quite like it. View from the captain's side and from the first officer's side. So we just continue the tour. While we're out here, it's getting darker very quickly, as you can see. Let's have a look at the runway signs here. Now they all look pretty good. There are the runway entry and exit signs. On the other runway they weren't lit. But here they are. Entry to runway 20 center. You can see they are lit because the sort of lighting has got down a lot lower now. Let's quickly pop back to that other place that we looked at and see if there's been any change in that unlit sign. So as you can see on this runway 02 left, the sign still isn't lit. In fact, there's quite a lot of signs that are dark here. Let's very quickly drop it to night time and see if there's a change. Right, just after 11 PM, and as you can see, they do light up now. So maybe it's just a timing issue, I don't know. So again, just a slow pass over the airport, just so you can have a look at the subtle lighting. I mean, it all looks great, really. It is quite subtle, but everything you need in terms of lighting to get your aircraft in and to see what you expect to see is there. Taxiways look good, and here on the eastern side, to be honest, the lighting on the signage looks a lot better than it does on the western side. I don't really know why that is. So here, coming up airside of Terminal 4 at the southern end here, and again these are the airside stands. And again, you can see that parallaxing effect through the windows. As we come land side of the terminal there. It's very nice. So as you can see, the sunset is dropping rapidly. It's 7:25 now. It's about 10 minutes later, and it's getting darker by the moment. Let's actually drop it down to night time now, and we'll have a look at a few things. Right, 10 PM local time. As you can see, the sun is gone, and this is the way the airport looks from up here. You've got a lot of good LED lighting around the airport here. Here you've got the tungsten yellow lighting, which is a feature at many airports, to be honest. You've got the odd vehicle cruising around, which is good. I mean, I'd like to see more. Here you've got this wonderfully detailed thoroughfare complete with trees. There's no traffic on it. I've turned my traffic up quite a lot, but I still don't see any. So anyway, let's tour the central area at low level and have a look. So as you can see, it looks good. It really does look pretty good. There's so much here that I haven't seen, and I don't want to spend too much time, otherwise this video could get literally so terribly long. But as you can see, the lighting is nicely done, it's subtle, there's lots of detail, even the roadway signs down there. I thought we'd have a little bit of a closer look at the central area. I mean, this is typical Singapore. And it's really quite nice, it really is. Down there to the right you can see the landside area with the cars parked. As we come over the hotel, there's a control tower, nice control tower, but it needs lighting. Legally it should have lighting. And the off stands as well, all properly lit. Very, very nice indeed. And there's the cargo terminal again, nice subtle lighting. The foliage really makes it stand out nicely too. Here's the maintenance hangar we looked at before. There's the aircraft poking out of it. And again looking at the stands here on the eastern side. As you can see, the camera is pretty fluid. Given the amount of detail, it is pretty fluid. So here's at the runway 2002 center. There's the fire station, or at least one of them, just below us there. What I want to do now is just pass quickly over the top of the construction point to head to the runway that's supposed to be closed. Now if it's closed you'd expect it to be not lit. But I got a feeling that it is, yeah, it is actually lit, and here you've got the taxiway signs. So there we are, quick shot looking to the north. You can see the runway there below us. This is the one that's closed, as I said, until the 15th of May, midnight. This one is not in use in the real world, but I leave it entirely up to you as to whether you want to use it. To be honest, I don't know whether you can actually taxi from here across to the central area. I'm not sure entirely in terms of the scenery. So 02 left and 02 centre and 20 in there are the ones in use. This one's shut until the 15th of May. Once again, the view from the cockpit, as you can see, it looks pretty real, it looks pretty cool. I mean, it looks fine. It's just it's just devoid of people. There's not even any Asobo default engineers walking around here. I would like to see some vehicles going up and down the airside road. Don't have to be too many. Nice to see maybe a fire truck or a maintenance van. And the odd engineer, even if they were static. Some static people really aren't affecting scenery frame rates these days, especially because the models are so good. I've seen reviewed sceneries where they've got terminal filled with people and it's made no effect on the frame rate. But what it does do is add ambience to a place. You see, all in all, this looks good. The lighting is very subtle, it all looks really, really nice. But just missing some people. So there below, as we pass over the construction site, you can see it's been really nicely detailed. They've done work on that too, which I think is to be commended. It's a big project, not just the airport, but to do the construction site as well is very, very nice. So that was night time. Let's turn it up to dawn now. So 25 past 7 in the morning, as you can see, the lights have gone out and you've now got the red glow as the sun casts its shadow across the airport. Now looking north, we've got the construction site below us and the closed runway to the right and the 2 operating runways to the left. And looking south, there's Terminal 4 below us and 02 left and right thresholds, or 02 left and 20 left as well. And the city of Singapore in the distance. And a quick shot of the airport from the western side looking east. There's the sun rising over the sea. Okay, 11 AM local time, and time to give you my thoughts. This is a big project. It's a big project from any developer to take on. And kudos to ImagineSim for choosing this airport and giving it a go. You might turn around and say, well, hang on a second, CloudSurf Asians have done it and they've done a good job, why do another one? I don't know, it happens a lot. I mean, there's 2 or 3 versions of various airports that have come out. Marseille, I think I remember, is one. It's been done by RD Presets, it's done by France VFR, and it's been done by Beautiful Model of the World. So there's three versions of the same airport. So this is reasonably common, I suppose, but it's unusual, I think, for somebody to attempt such a large airport as well when it's been done. However, this is different. I'm not going to say really whether it's better than CloudSurf. I think they both have their positive points, but this is really nicely done. Pretty much everything has been textured so that it looks real. The buildings look great, the foliage looks good, it's all been done in the right place, and the airport is fine. I think my only criticism is that it's not really alive. The only real animations I can see are the jetways. You've got 1 or 2 vehicles going around the airport here and there, but you've got airside roads and landside roads. You've got this wonderful chicane leading all the way up to the centre of the airport, and there's no traffic on it. It would be nice to see some vehicles going up and down there certainly would look great during the darkness hours when they got the headlights on. And also have some vehicles airside on the airside roads. Again, it's, the airside activity is there, but it's pretty much devoid of any activity. We haven't even got any Asobo engineers rondling about on the ramp. I just, would like to see some. And to be honest, again, to add some more lighting on the landside parts of the terminal so you can actually see the cars and the signs and the roadway landside of the terminal. The whole lot looks pretty dark. So those are my suggestions: to light up the landside areas of the terminals so you can actually see the buildings and the cars that have been placed there. Some static people inside the landside of the terminal, and even airside in those lounges, possibly to improve the view from the aircraft when you pull in. Some maybe animated or even static engineers around on the airside ramp, and some more vehicles moving around, more animations, I think, really. You've got the animated train track that goes into the rotunda there, and again, we've got no animated train. And all of these can be turned on or off using the configurator. So if you've got a low-end computer and you are worried about these animations affecting your frame rate, yeah, you could turn them on and off in the configurator. But for those of us who have reasonably decent systems and you want the realism and you want the eye candy, and I think, Flight Simulator 2020 has the ability now to produce some stunning eye candy effects, to bring airports really to life with people and all sorts of animations. I mean, nowadays we've even got things like whales in the sea and stuff like that. And there's a scenery just coming out from Airsoft of Antarctica where they've got moving penguins and they've got animated people throwing snowballs. So the animation effects that can be achieved in this simulator are so real now, and I just think they should be there. So ImagineSim, if you're listening, be nice if you could take on board some of these things. I'd like to see them, and it would really enhance this product. And again, you can put them in the configurator so they can be turned off if necessary. Control tower is another place that should be really worked on a bit. Okay, it doesn't necessarily need internal development, but it would be nice to see decent high level parallaxing on it, so you get the effect of seeing what's inside from outside. You also need the mandatory red lighting on the top, which is missing, should be there. I find it strange that the end of the jetways are lit when the jetways are moving, but the control tower, which legally must be lit with the red light, isn't. However, on the plus note, the price is really good, I think, for the amount of detail, the size of the project, the work that's gone into it, and pretty much every building's been textured. They've done a major job on the construction site here, and you still have work that's been done nearly off airport around here too. So the price, I think, is well worth it. As far as I remember from my conversations with ImagineSim, they are working on updates and improvements and things that they want to add, and I believe those will be free. So that just makes this a good idea, a really good thing, a really good idea, I think. So this is a welcome addition. It's certainly a good competitor to CloudSurf Asia, from the customer's point of view, it gives you a choice. It really does. It's a bit cheaper than CloudSurf's as well. So if you want a nicely detailed Singapore airport that's up to date as well, this is the 2024 version. It's great. It's there. You've got it in front of you. So I will just put a list of the things I'd like to see added to the airport to improve it. But what you've got, I think, is a very good product at a nice price. And my congratulations to ImagineSim for taking on such a large project and actually doing quite a nice job of it as well. All of the nav aids and all the runway lighting is as per the charts. They've done a wonderful job. For those of you who like to emulate the real world, just a reminder, the far right runway, 02 right, 20 left, closed until the 15th of May this year. So the other two runways are in use, and I've checked that on Flight Radar. So there you go, folks. Changi International Airport in Singapore, Whiskey Sierra Sierra Sierra, Payware scenery by ImagineSim, brand new version. This is release 1, the release candidate. For the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. The zip file downloads at 644 meg, and the installation comprises some 14 folders totaling around about 3.8 gigs, so it's quite a decent size. It's available currently from the ImagineSim shop only. You can't get it on Sim Market or anywhere else yet. Who knows, that may change, I don't know. The price, okay, all these are estimates from the UK pound, but it's £19.99, which equates to $25.38 US, or €23.43 on the euro. Euro and US prices are all estimates taken from the UK pound, and VAT and tax is included, which of course could vary depending on your country of purchase. A stunning airport in high detail, really nicely done. Which will feature updates and improvements, and I'm hoping that ImagineSim will take on board some of my thoughts. So thanks for joining me, folks. I hope to get this video out tonight, Friday the 26th, before the weekend. It's not been posted on my website, but I got it in time, and I thought we would do it and see if we could get it out there for those of you who are thinking of buying it. So thanks for joining me. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, wrapping up another review. Thank you very much for watching. If you've been on the fence and you've seen it and you fancy this airport, I hope my reviews helped you. I'm always interested to hear the comments, so by all means write away and I respond to all of them. I'm a one-man band. I spend a lot of time doing these to try and get the right results for you. So if you're interested in supporting me, buy me a coffee. Links in the description below. Doesn't cost very much and it really helps me. So thanks, folks. I'm going to do some flying this weekend. Look out for videos next week and we'll see what transpires. All the best. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.